The Cho asks, does she speak Korean in preschool or can she already speak some English? And we also have a question from Karen Carly that says, are you worried if she can communicate well with the kids due to the language barrier? She's been now in preschool for 4 months, and seeing her language develop over these last 4 months has been really interesting. At first, she was only speaking Korean with me at home, and she was basically like 90% of her vocabulary was Korean. But once she got into preschool, she actually was paired up with a Korean teacher. There were 2 Korean teachers at her preschool, but she was paired up with one of them. And that was a really nice thing that the preschool did in order to make sure that she had a good transition and that what she was saying could be understood, and also that she could kind of understand what her teacher was saying. But after the first week or so, she started refusing to speak Korean at all at preschool. Like, she wouldn't say a word, and when her teacher would speak to her in Korean, she would just not respond. And I think maybe her brain was trying to associate preschool with English. She was picking a lot of phrases and a lot of vocabulary up from her friends, from her brothers, from just listening to my conversation with Michael too. Since we speak in English, we all kind of just speak in Korean with Mina, but now we all speak English with her because she's so good at it. She's reading a book about lions. And actually, just this week, our teacher told us that she has been speaking non-stop. She's been saying so much and doing so much, and like, she doesn't stop, and it's the same at home. So I think it's more of like a time thing here, but it was very interesting to see that development because we weren't really sure what was gonna happen, and we weren't sure how she was gonna pick up. And yes!
Mommy, look.
Whoa! Hippo! Come here. A big hippo.
A big people, we already did.
Whoa! 파란색. Blue.
A big people.
Big hippo. They were also really surprised at how she knew all the colors, and she's just like, rah, 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 rah. Pink, purple, green. Next page. What's that?
A duck.
A duck! Okay, I'm gonna go to the next question. Let me open the page.
Big elephant.
Elephant!
Big
You didn't make an ice cream for her.
here. Mom.
Oh, okay.
Mom.
That's pretty good.
No.
Would you like an elephant ice cream?
Yeah.
Yeah? Okay. Here's the ears. And what color would you like your elephant ice cream?
I picked up 200 blue.
Okay, here's a gray elephant ice cream.
That's
Thank you. Can I have a leopard ice cream, please? Yellow?
okay. Oh, done.
Oh, thank you. Oh, no, it's dripping. May I have some napkins, please?
Yeah.
감사합니다. 맛있네요. 근데 숟가락이 필요하는데 숟가락 좀 주세요. 감사합니다. 다 이거 다 쓰레기예요, 쓰레기. Cindy Not Cindy asks, preschool versus daycare. Now this is a really interesting question because Galahad actually went to daycare for 3 months before he actually entered the school system with kindergarten. Ziek, on the other hand, went to daycare from age 1 all the way until he was also of kindergarten age. And then we have Mina, who was enrolled into preschool right when she turned 27 months, which is her school's minimum age. Now there are different benefits to a preschool versus a daycare. Usually with the preschool, it's more like a baby before kindergarten kind of system for younger children, and they don't have like an after school program for older kids. I think preschool also follows more of a specific curriculum, whatever curriculum that school will follow for that school year. So for example, our preschool is a Christian preschool, and Mina is learning like stories of the Bible for their curriculum. She also learns like specific letters and numbers and colors in order. I think with daycare, it's more like a play to learn type environment based on my experience as a parent from what I've seen come home, in terms of like reports or in terms of crafts. With daycare, it was more like a lot of seasonal learning, open play. Mina also gets open play at preschool, but I think both of them really work for different purposes. For example, when we were working a lot while I was teaching at the beauty college and while Michael was doing rehab therapy, and we didn't have that much time we could control in terms of like pickup times, the daycare was really flexible with the time that we could pick them up. So after my school ends, I could pick up Ziek, or after Michael's on the way home, he could pick up Ziek. But then with preschool, since it ends earlier, there are kind of like more stricter rules for pickup or overtime. So Linda asks, how did you decide which preschool was the right one for Mina? So transitioning kind of to why we decided to put Mina into preschool rather than daycare was actually because we saw the difference of how Galahad and Ziek were. Galahad being almost solely with me throughout his whole early years, and then Ziek going to daycare at year 1. We definitely didn't want to put Mina into care too early, but also didn't want to withhold her from like a social environment and community for too long. My friend also runs a home daycare, and I actually wanted Mina to be part of her home daycare, so I asked her if she has any openings, but she actually told me that after COVID and everything, she's had a job transition and she is no longer doing the home daycare. And I asked her for recommendations because I wasn't sure. Like, I really trust her opinion because she's been doing EC for a long time. And she's really good with kids. They have 4 kids, and she actually recommended the preschool where they put their kids, and all 4 kids go to that school, as well as her husband who works at that school. And then we also have like 3 or 4 church members who work at that school. So because the recommendation was so strong, we really had faith in the school and the staff and the teachers. We did visit the school and speak to the preschool supervisor as well. And all of the staff just really love the children, genuinely care for them. And I think that's a huge thing. They're not just there for a job. It's actually pretty hard to work there because it is a private school. So they run very heavy screenings and the interview process is pretty extensive. But just seeing from how much she enjoys it and how much she's been learning, we've been really happy with the care and the education at her preschool. So asks, how do you deal with tantrums like when they refuse to go to school and want to be with you? She's actually not had many tantrums. Some days she says no hakyo, like she doesn't want to go. Then we'll just negotiate with her and I'll say like, oh, but Hakyo has drawing, Hakyo has Play-Doh, Hakyo has slide. And I'll like bargain with her. Usually she agrees, but if she's just not having it, then we just tell her no Hakyo, okay, like you don't have to go today. Then she doesn't go, and either we get help from my parents, that's another privilege. But we found that she actually has very secure attachment because even though seems like she's kind of anxious, she still doesn't really display like meltdowns or separation anxiety because I think she has that secure attachment that is really important for self-confidence as well. And she walks confident. She walks like a girl boss. Please let me know if there's anything else you'd like to see on this channel down below, and I'll see you next time. Bye!